Good evening, everyone, and welcome to ATP Live. For those of you watching me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you're watching me from this evening, I just want to say good evening to you all and welcome to ATP Live. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. So, ATP Live is an opportunity for you to ask any questions that you may have on any children health issues. In the next 1 hour or so, I'll try and see if I can answer as many questions as I can. So it would be nice if you start dropping your questions quickly. Let's just take the first few minutes to just share our videos and so that we make sure that those who should be here. So please tag those who should be here. Share the video on Facebook, Instagram. Just share it loud and clear, and let's make sure everybody is here. I'm also going to try and make sure I put it in the rightful places on our Facebook group. So just give me a couple of minutes to get that done, so then we can start fully. Okay. Okay, I can see people on Instagram already are there. Okay. So just let's share the videos and make sure everybody can see, and then we can get to start. You're welcome. Welcome, everybody. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, can see the video. So I'm just trying to make sure I put the video in all the rightful places. So if you are watching me from Ask the Pediatrician's Facebook group, you can just drop your questions straight under the video you're saying. If you're watching from the Instagram, you can do the same. And if you're watching from other groups like our ATP Still a Mom, you will need to click on the video and get to our page so that you'll be able to post your question for me to be able to answer it. The same thing applies to those who are watching from our ATP family Facebook group as well. If you're watching on our page or you're watching on YouTube, you can also just drop your questions straight onto the page where you are. So I think we are good to go. Please share. You can also share the video on your own page. Share it to everybody that needs to watch it, so that today there's no spotlight. So I'm just going straight to answering all our questions. So just go ahead and ask your questions. All right. Okay, and I think we are good to go. I just want to make sure we're good to go. All right, I think that's all. Okay, just 1 more minute. I need to make sure they are pinned on the right pages. Welcome, everybody. I hope you had a nice day. Just like I've had a busy day myself. I couldn't even change from my work clothes. Okay, I think I'm done with all the admin part of the work. I think everybody can see the video now, and everybody can hear. And I think I'll just go straight to our questions. So once again, welcome everybody to ATP Live. I am Gbemisola Boyede. I'm a pediatrician and I'm the CEO of Ask the Pediatricians Foundation. And on ATP, our goal is to ensure that you all have access to the right information to raising a healthy child. We are committed to reducing deaths from preventable causes in all children globally, but most especially in Africa, where majority of these deaths still happen. And one of the ways by which we do it is through this live streaming program. We also have our Facebook group where you can drop your questions. So even after this live stream of 1 hour is over, if you still have any questions on any child health issues, feel free to head over to our Facebook group, Ask the Pediatricians, and you can drop your questions from Mondays to Saturdays, and 24 hours daily. We will answer your questions. If you want to be anonymous, we have the option for you to be anonymous on our Facebook group. Our answers are by professionals and from the professionals' perspectives. Usually, when it comes to children health, that's the pediatricians. So that is the kind of answer you're going to get from our group. Or if you have health issues of your own, we also have a sister group called ATP Family, where you can also post your questions, and our family physicians and all the other consultants will be able to assist you. If you have suffered any pregnancy loss or the loss of a child and you need some kind of psychological support, we are also there for you. So you can join our ATP Still a Mom Nigeria Facebook group, and we have trained peer mentors that will be able to support you through that difficult journey. So these are all that we have on our Facebook groups, but we also are on Instagram, on YouTube. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can watch all our past videos and videos on various topical health issues. And also we're on Twitter. So please follow all our social media handles. We are purely committed to promoting health information, healthy living for our children, especially. If you want to have a private chat, you don't want to post your questions publicly on Facebook, or you want to have one-to-one with a pediatrician for medical advice, we have that facility as well for you. Or if you want to actually have a consultation with any of our professionals, you want to be sure you are getting a real professional, because we know there are lots of quacks. Our pediatricians are able to see you at a very moderate fee, so you can send us a message on WhatsApp. For those of you on Facebook and YouTube, you can see that on the screen. For those of you on Instagram, if you send us a DM, we'll give you the information, but our WhatsApp information is all over the internet. It's all over our, if you check our profile, you will see all this information there. You can send us a message or you can send us a DM, and then we can tell you how to access that service. Please bear in mind that private chats one-to-one with a pediatrician or a full consultation with a pediatrician is not a free service. It's something that you are going to pay for. Please bear that in mind. Beyond what we do online on our Facebook group, we also go to the communities. We actually do community medical outreaches. We reach those communities that are very underserved in Nigeria, in Ghana, and we hopefully want to reach the rest of Africa very soon. So if you are touched, you can support us. You can support us by volunteering to go with us for the outreaches. If you're a medical professional, or even if you are not, we will welcome every volunteer. And if you want to also support us financially, you are welcome to donate to our account. I can see our account number on the screen. And if you tell us that information, if you go to our website, you can also get that information. It doesn't matter which part of the world you are, you can donate to Ask the Pediatricians Foundation. Ask the Pediatrician Foundation is on Global Giving, which is the largest crowdfunding platform all over the world for non-profits. So that means we are a vetted organization. For you to be on Global Giving, it means you've been scrutinized and you've been found to be faithful. So I can assure you that every cover given to ATP goes to medical outreaches. We don't use it to pay volunteers. We don't use it to do anything else. So all our volunteers are volunteers, including the chief volunteer herself. So please feel free to support us and reach at least one Nigerian child or one African child and save them from that. So that is all the announcement from the Ask the Pediatricians Foundation, which is a platform that has brought to you ATP Life today. So without further ado, I'm going to go straight to all the questions that we have. And I'm going to start from Instagram today because I think Instagram people were the very first set of people that I saw online today. So I'm going to start with Instagram and then I'll come back to Facebook. So please stay tuned and please let's keep our questions straightforward and short. Let's remember to always put the age of the child. There's no baby because some people call their 20-year-old baby as well. So pediatricians, we always like to know the age of the child because we always have to know the context. If you're asking about the weight, you have to tell us what the birth weight is, what the current weight is. So please try and make sure you put all the right information into the question at once so that we don't do a lot of back and forth and that will waste our time. All right, so I think the first question I have on Instagram is by Chomipiel. Yes, what can I feed my baby weight? It seems not to be adding weight. Okay, Chomipiel, you have asked your question before you had my announcement. So start with telling me the age of your baby. So that will be very helpful for me to know because just say what will I feed my baby weight. So what you feed a 0 to 6 month old weight is different from what you feed a 6 to 24 months old. So I really need that age of your baby. And if you say your baby is not adding weight, I also need the context. So what is the weight now? What was the birth weight? Then it helps me to know whether truly baby is not adding weight or not. Then I can give you further advice because there's an advice for a baby whose weight is just a little bit below what is expected, and there's an advice for a baby whose weight is so severely low you got to go to the hospital. So for a pediatrician to be able to answer questions correctly, we need the right information. We cannot just give you a blank. Most time there's nothing like one size fits all. Every child has his own specific approach. So please, you will need to ask your question again if you are still watching. Love Sonia, say good day, ma'am. My little kid of 1 year and 7 months has not started communicating with proper words, but still makes sounds. Please enlighten me. Okay, so if a 1 year, 7 month old, that is a 90-month-old baby, does not have any word at all, that child has speech delay. So a 19-month-old should at least be using single words or even start combining two words together to form phrases. So if at all there's no word at all at this age, then I want that baby to see a speech therapist, and then the speech therapist will be able to advise whether that baby you know need further assessment by a developmental pediatrician as well. So it is important that you take this baby to see a pediatrician, and then we can take the baby to see a speech therapist first. Then we can also be advised whether a developmental pediatrician is also needed at some point. So if you go to our Facebook group, we have a whole guide. If you get to our Facebook group, you can ask this question, but where's the guide? Somebody will show you where it is. We have a whole guide section on what are the normal speech milestones and what do you do if your child is not meeting those milestones. We have some advice generally for parents on what you as a parent can be doing to improve your child's speech, which you can start working with even before you see the professional. So I recommend that you check up on our Facebook group for those advice, but you still also need to see a speech therapist. Lara say, my girl of 2 years always have boil. Okay, probably every month. Okay, anytime I take her to the health center, they always give her antibiotics. What other things can I do to help her having so to help her, I guess, prevent such recurrence, I guess. Okay, so I am definitely worried about a 2-year-old who has boils every month. Something is not right. Something is wrong somewhere. So why is this baby? So it is not enough for us to take the baby to the hospital and for the baby to be given antibiotics all the time. So if you have seen me, well, the question I want to know is, why is this baby having boils every time? So boils are bacterial infection of the skin. So the question is, why is this child getting this infection all the time? So we need to investigate that. Is it that the child's immune system is not fighting? Because the truth of the matter is that we are all exposed to germs all the time. We're all exposed to germs all the time, but we don't have infections all the time, because there are what we call our defense system of the body. So the immune system, that's our defense system. They fight all these germs, so they make sure that we are healthy, even though we're inhaling and we are touching all, but they are keeping us safe from having infection. So what we need to do is to check whether this child's immune system is not working properly, because there are some health issues that will affect your immune system. For example, people that have diabetes, for example, children can also have diabetes, mellitus, and they won't be able to fight infection. I'm not saying that is what this baby has. That is just an example. So we need to know, or is it the hygiene? Is it the way this baby's hygiene is being uh, for example, the baby, we need to wash our hands often. We need to make sure we're doing that properly. So there are a lot of things that we need to make sure we're doing to make sure that this child is not having boils, but it's probably not normal for a child to have boils all the time. So I strongly recommend that. I'm not sure it's something the health center can handle. It is not the level of health center. You need to take your baby to see a pediatrician. You need to see them, and then they can be able to help you properly and get your baby properly treated. I hope that is helpful. Okay. I guess the next question on Instagram is James saying, is it normal for a baby to first grow second molar? Okay, so I'm not really sure who you are and whether you are somebody that has a medical background, but usually parents don't name teeth. Usually the dentists do that. So most babies always cut their first incisors. That's the central part of the teeth first before they cut those other those on the side. So there's nothing abnormal about how babies bring out their teeth or anything. Sometimes we have what we call normal variation. So I'm not really worried about baby uh, bringing out. And you didn't tell us which age of this child, so we don't know whether we're talking about a baby who is having the first set of primary teeth, or whether we're talking about a baby bringing out the permanent teeth. So you really need to always put the age of a child in any question you ask. It's so important, because whenever a pediatrician wants to answer your question, the first thing we want to do is to put a context to the question, because you just asked a question out of the blue. So I don't know which baby we are talking about here. So I really need to know. But generally, we are not worried about a baby bringing out the teeth. Maybe you expect the baby to bring out the central first, they bring out the lateral one. That is not a problem. The most important that baby has brought out has brought out tooth, and we're not going to go and say go and uproot it because it should not have come out first. So that's not an issue. So you generally, when it comes to human anatomy, physiology, there are always some variation from normal. We shall see also normal. In other words, it's not a disease and nobody's going to worry about it. But if you want us to have more clarity on the question, you need to just let us know the age of this child. Somebody, Nigerian chapter, is it okay to lie down to breastfeed? Yes, it's okay to lie down to breastfeed. Okay, for all of you first time mom, I forgot to mention that in the announcement. I have brought out a manual for you all. I think you have heard about the first time mom course before, which is available online. But I know some of you, from your feedback, you are too busy, you don't have time to sit down, listen to video calls and all that. You just want to read, you just want to go for that information quick. So we have the manual now. You can get the first time mom manual, what I call the FTM companion, and you can get it online as well. So you have that. So all these kind of issues, you can quickly go through it and know what is normal. Every information you need as a first time mom to to be a calm, confident first time mother without panic or stress is in that manner. So I strongly recommend it for you all to get it, and I think it will be helpful. All right, Linda, say good evening, doc. My baby is 5 months and birth weight is 3 kilos, current weight is 8 kilos. He has conjunctivitis. Can I use eye drop for him? You need to see a doctor to prescribe an eye drop for a baby. You can't just use any eye drop for him. Yes, because there are eye drops you cannot use for a baby who is 5 months old. So there's a eye drop you can only use at certain age. So it's an antibiotic. So it depends. So if it's a bacterial conjunctivitis, the child will need antibiotic. If it's a viral one, the child does not need antibiotics. So these are information that doctors only will be able to decide. So I would recommend that you should take the baby to the hospital and let a doctor prescribe the antibiotics. Please don't use chloramphenicol eye drop in a baby who is 5 months old. I know that's what most of us reach for, but it's wrong. It's not recommended for babies below the age of 2 years. It's very dangerous to use it. So please don't do that. So go to the doctor and then they can prescribe what is appropriate for your baby. Somebody else saying 4 months old baby, 2 weeks. How many meals of breast milk? Okay, so this ROD Nigerian chapter, I think you're most likely you're a first-time mom. I strongly recommend you get a manual. So for a first-time mom, 4 months old baby, breastfeed on demand. Breastfeed on demand. So there's no need for you to express the breast milk. You need to just breastfeed the baby. The baby demands whatever the baby wants, that the baby take. Okay. There's no need for you to be expressing on. You should be breastfeeding a 4 months old directly from the breast and let the baby breastfeed as much as the baby wants to. Okay. So for us as doctors, there's a way we calculate at least what is the minimum your baby should take in a day and all that. But for you as a mom, I don't really need you to go measuring breast milk and all this kind of thing, because I really don't expect you to be you can express obviously, but I expect you to do more of direct breastfeeding, and I expect you to do it on demand, and I expect you to feed your baby as much as the baby wants. So, but if you really are not, if you are really not breastfeeding directly and you're going to only express, then we work out the meals. It's really by the weight of the child, which you are also not provided. So there's no way we can tell you. But a good guide for a mom is just to breastfeed your baby on demand. Okay, babies will always take as much as they need, and then they will not take anymore. So that's just what we recommend for you. All right. 5 months old, she's bringing out. Okay, so I think James, like you're the one that asked. Okay, I think, oh, my phone is dead. Oh Lord. Okay. For those on Instagram, sorry, you may have to come to Facebook. I was rushing, so I didn't have enough time to charge my phone. But I will come back on. I've put it on the charger, is on, so hopefully it should come back. I'll continue on Facebook for now. The person who is asking question, 5 months old, usually they bring out the incisors first. But like I said, if they bring out um the other teeth first, we're not going to worry about it. It's just a variation, and that will be all. Okay, sorry for those on Instagram. My phone has packed up because I've not had time to charge it. I'm charging it right now, so hopefully I'll come back soon. But in the meantime, I'm just going to continue with those on Facebook. Okay. Okay, thank you, Esther. Thank you, Facebook user. The person saying it's a chief, so this person must be a doctor. The only doctors are called other doctors chief and all those kind of things. Okay, and Mary, thank you for joining us. Instagram people, don't worry, I'll soon join you soon. So let me just be answering those on Facebook for the meantime. My controller, Deshawa, good evening. Okay, so the first question on Facebook. Is there any treatment for adenoids apart from surgery? The child is 5 years old, is disturbing since birth. If your child is 5 years old, have adenoids since birth, and it's been disturbing him, that child should have an operation. There's no other treatment. Usually, most time we don't operate children with adenoids and all that. We actually wait for it to outgrow itself, and most of the time it's usually we outgrow by the age of 5 to 6 years. So if your baby has been having this problem, it's now 5 years old and it's still an issue, then there's no solution than surgery. And I'm sure the ENT doctor must have told you surgery. And I know parents, when you hear the word surgery, tends to panic, but adenoid surgery is not really a major. It's a major surgery in the sense that the child is going to go to sleep, but it's still something. Most of the time it's done as a day surgery, which means that your child have the surgery and the child is awake and going home eating that same day. So there's no need to panic. If the ENT doctor have seen your baby, please follow whatever advice they gave. All right, the next person say my baby is 6 weeks old. He does not pull on his own unless we do rectal stimulation. You should stop that. So let me just stop there and say don't do that. Okay, babies on EBF don't have to pull every day, and sometimes they may go for days on up to 2 weeks without pulling. There's nothing to worry about. But when they are ready to do their pull, they do a big one, and it will still not be hard, it will be soft. So just leave the baby alone. Okay, there's nothing wrong, that is normal. So stop doing the rectal stimulation. If you're a first time mom, and I suspect so, please get the first time baby manual, because all these issues are addressed in it. And secondly, he has a lot of pain and gas in his stomach. It is so discomforting. Yeah, that sounds like colic. It doesn't cry. Isn't colic supposed to make babies cry comfortably? Yeah, colic may babies cry, but some babies it's just that discomfort, because just like not everybody will cry from every discomfort. Some babies, so the question is, how did you know it's in a lot of pain? Because you are the one telling us this baby's in a lot of pain, but baby is not crying. So how did you know the baby's in a lot of pain? How do you? So obviously the gas in the stomach is from the baby sucking in gas, and sometimes when the baby is passing out the gas, the movement of the gas makes them, not that they're uncomfortable. It's just that they are very aware of what is going on around them, and some of them get scared by it, some of them, but you see that eventually when they pass the gas, they are more relaxed. So that is normal, and it's a phase. And as baby get bigger and older, they are more aware of their body. So the movements of gas, of liquid, or anything through their tummy does not bother them anymore. So it's nothing to worry about. So you need to try and reduce the amount of gas the baby is taking in. So make sure baby don't cry before you start feeding them. Make sure you're not feeding them with bottles, because most of the time they suck hair from bottles and all that. And when they're passing the gas, just normal comfort and all that. Infacol, which is what we recommend for babies with colic, is also helpful, because what it does is to actually help them pass the gas in a much more comfortable way. So that's all. And but again, it's a passing phase, and most babies will outgrow that. So if you want to know more about that, you can get the first time mom uh, uh, course. I think it will be very helpful for you. Okay, all right. Next question is, oh, sorry, I think I'm in the wrong section. Okay, yeah, okay, I now got that. Um, So Makwajola is saying, please, what can I eat for a 7 months old that has bloated tummy? So the question is, what is making this baby to have bloated tummy? That's the first thing that we need to know. So because a 7 months old should not be having bloated tummy. So there's nothing I'm going to recommend first, because I need to know how you're feeding this baby, what is causing the bloating. Are you giving a food that the child is allergic to, or is the child having digestion? No, there are lots of questions. So most time parents always go for, what do I give? What do I give? And we as doctors, we are going for, what is the problem? What is causing the problem? So the solution to the problem is usually in what caused the problem. So without knowing the cause, we won't know the solution. Excuse me. So that is what. So because we don't know why your baby is bloated, I'd rather say it's better you see a doctor first and get that information on why your baby is bloated, and then they can take it from there. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Facebook user Asinuka Deboye say, what can I expect? What should I expect from a child 4 years, 9 months in terms of speech? Because at times you can't make a complete statement. Okay, thank you for that question. A 4-year-old should be talking like an adult. A 4-year-old should be talking like any adults, with correct grammar, correct sentences. Speak to a stranger should have no difficulty understanding what a 4-year-old is saying. So if a 4-year-old is saying not talking clearly and you are concerned about it, you definitely need to see a speech therapy. A 4-year-old cannot make a complete sentence. I get that what you want to say is having speech delay, and that 4-year-old need to see a speech therapy and also see a developmental pediatrician so that we know the cause and then we can advise on what should be done. So that's what I would recommend at this point. Okay, for the 4-year-old. Let me see if I can come back to Instagram, people. Sorry, I'm really sorry. Hold on, let me see. Okay. Okay, so I hope that is helpful. Okay, I hope my Instagram people will come back. I'm sorry. Good evening. The next person, Linda, say, good evening, doctor. My baby is 15 months old. He started running temperature. Took him to the, my baby is 5 months old. Started running temperature. Took him to the hospital. Was confirmed infection. After test is done, my question is, how did the infection come about? Okay, that's a very valid question for a mom to ask, but you should actually have asked them at the hospital, because there are questions they would have asked you for them to know how your baby got infection. Number one, you've not told me which parts of the body is this infection. Is it in the eyes? Is it in the ears? Is it in the nose? Or is it just in the blood? Or is it, so I need to have that information. So the question is, how does infection come in? So children are exposed to germs. Like I said, we are all exposed to germs. So starting from the hands of those of us who are carrying the baby, starting from the umbilical cord, starting from, even the diaper area, the urine area, all those places. So there are many holes in our body, and through our nose, through our mouth, through our hands. So there are many ways we are exposed to germs. Most of us are not sick because our body immune system is always fighting those germs that we're being exposed to. But it can get to a point where the germs kind of slip through the defense system of the body and the child is going to have infection. Now, let me also be fast to say, when you go to hospital and they told you your baby has infection, you need to ask them those questions, because it is not just by doing blood tests that we say baby has infection. So you must also adhere symptoms, adhere other things. So it's a job of the doctors to figure it out. So usually for babies, we will do urine tests. So that's why we do urine tests. We will do urine tests. Sometimes we may take culture of the blood itself. Sometimes we even take water from the back, what we call the spinal cord, if we are not sure where the infection is coming from. So that will help us to know. And the type of jam also will help us to know. So the fact that you're exclusively breastfeeding your baby does not mean your baby can never have infection, because it is just like saying that um you are protected against something, or you've taken COVID vaccine, then you will now still go and expose yourself to somebody who has COVID, or and let them blow on you and all that. So the breast milk and all those immunization protect us. Doesn't mean that there's not 100% guarantee. It doesn't mean that you should now deliberately expose yourself to germs and then your baby will. So protection from exclusive breastfeeding should protect your baby against infection, but you still need to pay attention to hygiene. You still need to make sure people are washing their hands. So it's a lot of things going on. And then we also need to make sure the baby's immune system is also good and fighting those infections. So there are a lot of factors. So breastfeeding exclusively is one part of the equation. So it's not the only thing. So I hope that's helpful. Instagram people, my sincere apologies. I am just charging my phone. That's the honest truth. I'm sorry. I hope it maintains. And Instagram burns a lot of energy because it's video consuming, so that's why it's taking my battery power down quickly. All right, Faith is asking, my 8 weeks old baby stretch for long before she can get a smooth sleep. Somewhere in between the sleep, she squeezes and makes sound like she grown, but she doesn't cry. What do you do? You don't need to do anything. You don't need to do anything. So babies do that when they are passing out gas, when they are passing out stool, even when they are passing urine, anything moving or going around their body, they are aware of it, they react to it. It's something like, what is that, but once the thing is gone, then they calm down. So it's a phase. Most of them pass through that phase between the age 0 to 3 months. Usually as they get bigger and then they are more mature, their body is bigger, they are not as worried about all those movements anymore, and it's not something to worry about really. So you just kind of calm the baby, pet the baby, and the baby will be fine. All right. Gloria say, my baby is sorry for those on Instagram. If you asked a question before and I didn't answer, please do you mind just popping it up again because I can't see them again before this appeared. If I've not answered the one you put before, but if you're just coming in, feel free to put your question. Gloria say, my baby is 23 months old, has adenoid. Can it be managed without surgery? Okay, I think I've answered that question before. I don't know whether you were here then. So when your baby has adenoids, a doctor would have seen your child. As much as possible, we don't like to take out the adenoids. We want to see whether it will go on its own, because usually by the time babies are about 5 to 6 years, adenoid begin to shrink on its own. So if the adenoids is not causing much problem for your baby, or we will not do anything about it. We will just watch and wait. That's what most of the time we do. But there are indication for surgery. So there are times we have to do surgery even in a 1-year-old if there is need. If your baby is having recurrent infections, respiratory infections, your baby had 6 of them in a year because of the adenoids have to come out. If your baby is struggling to breathe, and sometimes even stopping breathing, what we call obstructive sleep apnea, there will be a time the child will completely not breathe at all. That is a problem, so we'll need to do surgery. So there are the surgeons, depending on also how big. If it's very big and it's really making the airway so narrow, the surgeons have to take it out. So usually if you have adenoids, the pediatrician may be treating your baby. If it's becoming so much, we want you to see the ENT doctors. The ENT doctors will do the x-rays, what they call the postnasal space x-ray. They will look at it and decide whether, okay, should we do watch and wait, or do we need to do surgery? So the most important thing is that whatever your doctors have advised, follow. If you are not sure, you can also go for a second opinion from another ENT doctors. If the 2 of them are telling you this Chinese surgery, then please do the surgery. Like I was telling the first person who asked, that I think her own child is 5 years old now. Usually by the time children are about 5 years old and now they know it's still a problem, which means it's not shrinking, they have to operate it. There's no other solution to it. So the ENT doctors will be the ones to advise whether they want to do surgery or not. But like I said, there are reasons why they will do surgery. But otherwise, if those reasons are not there, we will not do surgery. We just watch and wait and see. Okay. Amarachi say my baby of 8 months old stool is green, watery. Anytime he takes Cerelac, is he okay or should I stop? Well, if you notice as a result of your baby taking a particular food, then you should stop that food and give other things. Because if you've gone through our teachings on complementary feeding, there's no particular food or store-bought cereal that your baby has to take. All the food in your kitchen, they are good for your baby to have for complementary feeding. So we prefer that actually. So you may want to focus more on giving your baby real food rather than what you bought. I'm not saying it's what you bought that is causing the greenish too. I don't know. Unless it's maybe iron containing something. You can read about what they say about things that can happen in babies taking that particular brand of products. But otherwise, give your baby real food from made by your own kitchen. And of course, make sure you're paying attention. Remember that the answer you get in this program is the way you frame your question. So you've told us that it's only when you give this particular food that this happen. So usually for me, if you tell me that as a pediatrician, then I will tell you just stop that particular food and let's see whether the problem disappear. Obviously, if you stop and the problem does not go away, then you will know that it is not that is just a coincidence. So, but the most important thing is make sure you are following hygiene and washing. Make sure you are not bottle feeding complementary food. Make sure you are making food you are feeding your children with from the plates and the spoon and all those other things. If you want more information on complementary feeding, you can either get a first time baby manual. You can go to our group. We have a guide session on complementary feeding. There are a lot of videos for you to watch. It's very important that we know we're doing the right thing. Okay, let me quickly answer Instagram people before because my phone is is on life support right now. Okay, J-Lo say good evening. My baby is 5 months, does not poop every day. She can go for 5 days without pooing. Is it normal? Yes, it is normal if your baby is on exclusive breastfeeding. And so there's no need to worry, just keep breastfeeding exclusively. Somebody saying let's talk about metopic ridge. Why do you want us to talk about it? So you need to be very specific. So metopic ridge is just a seizure. So the bones in the baby's head are not all joined together because they are supposed to be spaces in them to allow for the baby's brain to grow. So one of those seizures is a metopic seizure. That's the one just around that place there. So I guess in this case, maybe it has joined together and that is forming a line there. So that is not enough question or something to talk about. Is it causing a problem? Is the baby's head small? Are there other issues? So you need to put all those into it. So if a doctor or anybody use big grammar around you, just stop them and ask them to tell you in a simple layman language implication of it. So because sometimes doctors will talk to doctors, not that information is not for you, but sometimes parents overhear it and then they start to panic and they start to ask people, and that information is not meant for you. When doctors want to talk to parents, they know the right words or terminologies to use that you will not be confused whatsoever. Okay, Jello saying my baby is 5 months. Okay, I think I've answered your question, Jello. You don't need to repeat it. Don't worry. As long as you have put it there, I will answer it once at a time. Thank you. I think I've answered that one. Lolly P Global, is it normal for a baby to strain? I'm not sure. Where's the question again? Is it normal for a baby to strain while passing stool? I guess that's what you want to say. Babies do that. Some babies do that, even though the stool is not hard and all that. It doesn't mean there's anything to wrong. We worry about it only if your baby is passing stool and it is hard. That is the time that we worry about it. But otherwise, if the stool is normal, there's nothing to worry about. There's somebody say So Kat, asking about the metopic ridge, like I said, you've not provided information about it, so there's nothing for you to do about it. If there's other problem with the baby or the exercise of your baby or other issues, that's when you should see a pediatrician. A ridge being there, it doesn't mean anything. You don't need to do anything. Just leave it alone. So T Kayode say a child of 9 years old look like 4 years old. What does that? Not tall. So your baby that means the child has what we call short stature. So you need to see a pediatrician. So there are causes of short stature. Some of them, there are causes of short stature. Sometimes it's constitutional. If the father and the mother of the child are short, the child is going to be short because in their family they're always short. That one doesn't require any doctors. Sometimes some children are short because they are what we call stunted, malnutrition, they've not eaten the right kind of food. Some children are short because they have chronic medical conditions. So some children are short because maybe they have some hormones that are low, things like thyroid hormones and all that. So there are short stature that we can do something about. Like if the hormone is low, we can give hormone. Or if the child is not eating food, depending on the age, we can still do something. Some age, we cannot do anything anymore. So you need to see a pediatrician, basically, preferably see a specialist pediatrician, usually the pediatric endocrinologist. They are the ones that handle such cases. So you need to see them and then they can advise you. They will investigate to know what is the cause and then they'll be able to advise you on what to do. All right, I think I've answered Instagram people. Instagram people, we are on life support. So if I disappear, just relax, I'll come back. Okay, okay, let me come back to Facebook. Where did I start? Okay, yeah. So Cynthia Scholars saying, would love to know the time intervals of feeding a baby of 10 months old. Is 3 hour interval too small or too much? Okay, so Cynthia, you need to do the complementary feeding course. So a 10-month-old baby should be on complementary feeding and breastfeeding. So for the breastfeeding, you see breastfeeding on demand. For the complementary feeding, for 10 months old, it should be just three to four times a day. So just 3 times a day. And maybe with one snack. So it is not every 3 hours. It's not every 4 hours. No. So we are not feeding them every 3 hours. So you're supposed to feed a 10-month-old the complementary feeds maybe 3 times a day, maximum 4 times a day, and you can give them one snack, a healthy snack in between. But in between all that, apart from the complementary feeding that is just 3 to 4 times a day, which is half a cup also of complementary food, because we also need to know what is the right quantity as well. So quantity, frequency, and all that. So those of you who were on our who joined us for the ATP antenatal and first time mom class on Saturday. We also talked about this. So you need to know that. And then, but breastfeeding as much as the baby wants. So complementary feeding is not every 3 hours, it's not every 2 hours, it's not. No, please, that would be too much for the baby. So if you want more information on that, you can go to our guide session, get to the guide session, go for complementary feeding. There are about 5-6 videos you can watch, or you can buy our first time mom manual. All those information you will get there. So you have clarity on how to go about complementary feeding. Godoka saying, my baby of 19 months old turbinates, is enlarged at night, which causes slurring and pause and breathing, sometimes no tonsil, no headache, no asthma. Godoka, are you a doctor? Are you a nurse? Or you've been to the hospital? So you because you are using a lot of terminologies that shows either you've been to the hospital or you've seen a doctor. So if your baby is snoring at night, okay, take the child to see a doctor, please. See either a pediatrician or ENT doctor. Let's all decide what is causing it. I don't want to rely on a mother telling me no adenoid, no no asthma, no this, no tonsil. It's only a doctor that can tell that. So if you have told me that you've seen your doctor and they told you it's not this, it's not that, then they should tell you what it is. Because snoring is basically saying that there's something trying to cause obstruction of the airway, and we need to know what it is. So that is it. And that's the question. So if you have told us everything is not affected, then the question is what is it that is causing it? So and all that. So, and then you say it determine it is swollen and all that. So why is it swollen? So that's the question you need to also ask yourself. So you need to see, you can see the ENT doctors, they are the one that handle things like that. But things don't just swell up in babies. They do that as a response to something happening. Maybe it's an allergic reaction going on or something going on and all that. So allergic rhinitis. So when you say asthma, that's allergic rhinitis, it has to do with the lower part of the airway, but it can also affect the upper part of the airway, what we call allergic rhinitis as well. And that can also cause children to have like obstruction of their airway as well. So it's best to see the doctor first to have a proper assessment, have a proper diagnosis, and then they can take it up from there. So I'll be answering the Instagram people's question as they come in, and then we will take it up. So, Kat, if you have seen a doctor and your doctor have told you there's nothing to worry about, there's no need to worry about. You cannot get a second opinion to a question you have seen a doctor for on a live program, because the doctor who saw you has seen your baby and has done thorough evaluation, examined the baby, checked every other thing else. Like I told you, it is not just one thing we're looking at. We're looking at everything. We're looking at the baby as a whole. So if your doctor has done that and has told you there's nothing to worry about, then there's absolutely nothing to worry about. If you want a second opinion, which is fine, you also have to see a pediatrician who will do that. You can't just ask one part of the question and expect that, So for me, I've already told you, if there's nothing else wrong with your baby, it's just the reach that is there, then nobody's going to worry about it. If there are other issues, then that is when it becomes a part of it or an issue, then we'll need to do something about it. Okay. Laude Claudia say, my 9-month-old is coughing. The brother is coughing. The pediatrician advised that we just watch it. Is there some kind of home remedy? No, just give water, let them drink a lot of water, let them take a lot of fruits, warm fluids. That's all. There's nothing to do, because like the pediatrician I've told you, most of the time there are viruses causing those things and they don't need any treatment. So just watch and wait. So most of the time, pediatricians don't always recommend drugs for everything. I know mothers always like an active intervention, like I'm giving something. I'm sometimes, to be honest, some things is just watch and wait and it will go away. So just relax. All right, faithfulness, I can say baby of 8 months does not have seeds. I think we have answered this question before, but I can't remember. But it's nothing to worry about. Some babies may not have seeds until their first year of life, and there's nothing to worry about. Just leave the baby alone. Chioma say, please, can a 2-month-old baby have tonsils? Everybody have tonsils. So that is not the question. The question is it enlarged? Is it infected? And all that. But obviously, I'm not expecting you as a mom to make that diagnosis. So if you have, it's better you ask me what symptoms you've seen in your child, and let me tell you what I think is causing it and what you should do, rather than trying to walk it backward from the making your own assumption of the diagnosis and thinking whether is it or not. It doesn't work that way. So it's not something that will commonly happen in this age group. So, but it's better you tell us what you think is happening. My baby is not breathing well, or my baby is doing this, or my baby is doing that. And then the doctor will work out what we think is the cause. So that's what I recommend. Don't make assumptions at all about diagnosis, because it can be very, very dangerous. God bless you. Thank you. God bless you too. Facebook user say, I made an observation. What makes breast milk express on different day differs in color? Okay, good observation. Breast milk differ in color from day 0. So there's what we call, so when you first have a baby, the breast milk you bring out is called colostrum, and colostrum tends to be colorless to amber color. Then you have what we call transition milk, which is not typically white, but it's also not colorless. Then you also have the real milk, which tends to be white. Breast milk also vary per each mother. Breast milk also vary per the baby. So, for example, if your baby is a preterm baby, the kind of breast milk you produce, the composition of that breast is going to be different from the composition of a mother whose baby is not preterm. So breast milk is a dynamic fluid, and that is why we prefer breast milk, honestly, because your breast milk is so customized for your baby than any other thing else. So which is unlike formula, which is everybody get the same thing. But breast milk also changes. So some babies may have more quantity of a particular, maybe protein and all that. Then when you are expressing your breast milk, the beginning part of your breast milk tends to be more watery like. We'll call it fore milk because it's more of water. It's supposed to make the baby full. Then yeah, it's supposed to satisfy the taste of the baby rather. While the later part of your breast milk is the fatty part. So it tends to be foamy and all that. It tends to be very thick and like fat. And that is the part that contains fats, and that's the part that actually satisfy the baby. So the first part remove all the tests. That's why you don't need to give your baby water when you're breastfeeding, because there's 70% of water in breast milk, and then the lower part is the fat. So depending on at what point you express your breast milk. So if you're expressing at the beginning part and it is your for milk, it's going to be looking like light color, like watery pap. Whereas if you express at the later part, which is a thick fatty part, that tends to have more yellowish. Then depending on how much of protein you are adding to your breast milk, whether you're a preterm mom or you're a term mom, even for you at different parts of the day, your breast milk will change. So it's a dynamic fluid and it can have different colors, different. And so, but again, it's nothing to worry about. It does not mean one is sour. It does not mean one is not good. It's just a dynamic fluid. And that is what I can say about that. If you want to know more about breastfeeding, we have a whole guide session on breastfeeding. It's also covered in the first time baby manual. That's the FGM companion. Where am I? Okay. Thank you. The next question is it normal for a baby to be eating well yet slim? Okay, so for us as pediatricians, we don't work by size, we work by figures. So it's not enough for you to tell me baby is slim. I'm more interested in what is the weight of the baby. So is the weight healthy? A baby can have a healthy weight and look slim to you, but if the weight is fine, the pediatrician is happy. So for us, it is not by baby look big, the baby looks slim, the baby looks this or that. What are the facts and the figures? What is the weight? And what was the weight of the baby when baby was born? And what is the weight now? So we need to factor all those information into it. So, and I know most Nigerian mothers want their babies to be chubby and fat. So I think we get a kick out of the fact that when people see your baby is big and heavy, then they think, you are trying, you are feeding your baby well. Honestly, too much is also bad. Too little is bad. So malnutrition is not just babies that are skinny and not gaining weight. Babies that are too big, overweight, obese is also malnutrition. So pediatricians want you to be in the healthy weight range. So that is what we want for your babies. So Facebook user, if you really want me to tell you, send me the weight of the baby, then I will tell you whether the baby is underweight or normal weight. Then if baby is underweight, then why? Is it no food? You said baby is eating well. Again, when people tell me my baby is eating well, I always tell them, define what you mean by eating well, because what you meant by eating well to you may not be eating well to a pediatrician, because eating well is not just food entering the mouth. Eating well is what is on the plate. Okay, so how much of carbohydrate is there, how much of protein? For those on the course on Saturday, I show you the food pyramid. So you see, this is a percentage of carbohydrate, this is a percentage of protein, this is a percentage of fruits and veggies, this is a percentage of fat. Everything has to be the right proportion. What people used to call balanced diet before. We try to move away from that terminology anyway, but it has to be the right proportion. So if a baby eats rice 20 times a day, that baby is not eating well. The baby is eating, but baby is not eating well. Okay, so a child who is not having protein, who is not having fruits and veggies, the baby is not eating well. Even though the child may finish a whole pot of rice, that is not eating well. So we always, so when you see us, then the pediatrician or you see a dietitian, they'll ask you all this question. We do what we call a 24-hour food recall. Tell us everything your baby has eaten in the last 24 hours. What quantity? So then we know. yes, the baby is eating well. Oh no, the baby is not eating well. So it is not just about quantity, it's also about quality. So, and then we also match it to the weight. Then does each child has a medical issue, any health condition that may affect baby's weight? So a child may be eating, but if child has, for example, maybe hyperthyroidism or something, or child has maybe it's has sickle cell anemia or something, their body is metabolizing the food, so the food is not being gained as weight. So the child may not be looking like they are having weight. So there are lots of so weight gain is not just about food, and it's also not just about the tummy being full. It's about several other factors. So we need to have all those information, then we can advise appropriately. First time mom, you can get the manual on if you go to our Facebook group. Okay, I think I'll try and post it in the comment section if I can quickly get to it, and then you can buy. It's a digital material because all of you are from different parts of the world, different parts of the country. So the easiest way to give you guys things is if it is digital. So I would recommend you get it on the digital platform. So thank you for your interest in that. Okay. The next question. Okay, I will try and send you. If you have any information, just send message to our WhatsApp number. I'm sure somebody will be able to answer that later because I don't want to be distracted from my program. But all those information is on all our pages. If you just check either the Instagram, Facebook, everything, there's always information there. But send a message to our WhatsApp number and then we'll be able to answer that. Okay, somebody is saying my baby has 2 months. Your baby is 2 months and 2 weeks and has a boil on his shoulder. Now, boil on his shoulder, right or left? I hope it's not the BCG scar that is this boil because we need to have that information because that location is a very unique location. So if a 2 month old baby is having boil on the shoulder, I really want to be sure it's not the BCG scar because BCG scar can actually look like a boil, but it's not a boil. Yeah, we call it BCG abscess, or if you like, you can call it BCG boil, but technically it's not. It's a response of the child to the BCG vaccine, which is perfectly normal. It's don't do anything to it, don't rupture it, don't press it, don't just leave it alone. Most time it will rupture by itself. Just clean it and go and flush that away in the toilet. Wash your hands thoroughly. It will heal and then to become a normal scar. So the person who is asking this question, I really need you to give me a feedback. I really want to know where this boil is, where is on the right shoulder, where we normally give the BCG vaccine. And we really need to know because it's BCG's scar, because it's very unusual for babies to have boils on their shoulder. So I strongly suspect you are referring to the BCG scar and there's nothing for you to do. But if it's another boil, then that one you may need to take antibiotics and all that. So that's why I really need for you to give me a feedback quickly. Okay, Facebook is saying my 10-year-old and 9-year-old 10-year and 9-year-old child that can talk but not fluently, that cannot express himself as well. Okay, I'm really confused. So are we dealing with two children here, a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old, or are we dealing with a 10? You see both of them that cannot speak fluently, they cannot express themselves. So the question is a bit confusing for me. You may want to ask one child at a time, or if you have two children, just say, I have two children, both of them are not doing the same thing. And it's clear, so I'm not really confused. But if a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old, if I answer this question the way I think this is what you are asking me, are not talking fluently and they are not able to express themselves well, that means they have a developmental condition, either disability or disorder. I don't want to go into all this big grammar, but they definitely need to see a developmental pediatrician because as a 10-year-old, 9-year-old should be able to express themselves. They should be going to almost secondary school and they should be in either final year 6. That's primary 6. So they need to see us. They need to see a pediatrician. They need to not just see a pediatrician, they need to see a developmental pediatrician. We need to know what is going on and we need to know what kind of support they need. They may also need speech therapy along the line. Let me answer Instagram that my phone is still okay. Okay, let's go back. Okay, where did I stop? Yes, okay, that's a 9-year-old coughing. Yeah. Okay, Lash is share good luck. My baby is having constipation, it's 8 months plus. What do you advise? We have changed food. Mhm. Okay, that's alone has told me a lot because a 8 month old baby should not be on one food. So when you say you have changed food, I guess food is, are you talking about formula? Because Nigerians also use the word food for formula. So I really need to know whether you are speaking to me in a Nigerian language. We understand each other. So number one, an 8 month old baby should not be on one food. An 8 month old baby should be on complementary feeding. 8 months old baby should be sucking breast and also taking porridge or semi-solid. So, and it should not be one. So they should be having maybe soft rice, mashed yam, mashed potato. But more importantly, you need to be adding veggies. So your ewedu, your okra, all those other things, you need to be adding it with the crayfish, with all those things. So your baby needs to eat not just food, because most of those food is either formula or cereal. And that is not all that is about complementary feeding. And your baby should still be breastfeeding. Okay. More importantly, your baby needs to be drinking water. So it is so most of the time when babies are constipated, let me remove this one. When babies are constipated, it is not it's usually most time related to how they are being fed. So we want the babies to eat a lot of food that have a lot of fiber, a lot of water. So most of the fiber are from our vegetables and our fruits. So when you make food, make sure the food plates. Okay, so if you go to our complementary feeding guide, because this is some of these things are difficult to just say in just one simple, easy sentence. You need to have that background understanding the food plates. There's a part for the carbohydrate, there's a part for the veggies and fruit, there's a part for the dairy, there's a part for the protein, there's a part for the fat. You need to have all those things in one meal at a time. So when we just go out to the store and buy only one particular uh, uh can of one whatever, I'm not going to mention any names, we are not feeding our babies properly. That is not feeding well. So of course you can give a baby formula at 8 months old, but they should be eating variety of food. There should be fruits, there should be veggies, they should drink water so they will not be constipated. So you want to look at what is your baby eating and get it sorted properly. Okay, okay, you ask your baby, is it your baby that is 8 months plus, or is it your baby that is 9 day old? Because I'm confused now, because if your baby is 9 day old, or is it your baby, are you saying your baby is 8 months 9 days or 9 days old? Because I'm really confused. So last day close here, you need to ask your question all over again. But because I've answered your question like an 8 months old who is constipated. So if you are changing your question, please ask again. Can water be too much for a 7 months old baby? Yes. Baby can have water intoxication. So a 7 months old baby should be taking mostly breast milk and 2 to 3 meals of complementary feeding. They don't need to drink a lot of water, like they will now only water will now be. So where will be the babies? Remember, their stomach is like this, like your face. Like that is how much stomach they have. So if you fill everything with water, when is baby going to eat? Baby, water has 0 calories, so baby is not going to gain weight. So water can be too much. So we don't even want to all the water a 7 month old baby needs to take, including the water that is in breast milk, including the water in your pap, including the water in all the food you give. So when we say water, we're not just talking about the water alone. We are talking about the water. There's water in breast milk, there's water in the pap, there's water, all the fluids together. Let's say 7 months old is weighing 8 kilos. So is it 8 kilos? 7 plus 9, yeah, 8 kilos. So the 800 mils, that is all the water the baby needs to take in a day. And if your baby is sucking breast milk alone, 70% of breast milk is water. So your baby has sucked like 1 liter of breast milk, 1,000 mils of breast milk. That is 700 mils of water already gone in. Remember, your pap also has a little bit of water. There's fluid. So you need to be conscious of that. So most of the time, they don't need, like if you give them a complementary food or solid, then they just need to take only a little sip of water that they need to take. Maybe if like 10, 20 mils of water, so don't let them be taking like a whole bag of pure water and finishing it. That will be too much for them. All right. I hope that's helpful. Then J-Lo 12. So my baby suffered from birth trauma and had a red patch. Esther, let me hear this phone. The other phone. My baby suffered from birth trauma and had a red patch on her face and it's not going. Is there anything I can do to it? Her eyes get swollen when she sleeps on that side of her face. I really need to understand what birth trauma did your baby have, because I'm trying to understand. I really need to understand what birth trauma your baby has. There's a red patch. So what did your doctor tell you is a red patch on the face? Okay, because usually babies don't have birth trauma and custody. How was your baby delivered? Is it a normal delivery? Is it cesarean section? Is it a forceps or whatever? So we need to have that information, because the question is not really clear to me. And if the eyes is swollen, I worry so much about that. So this baby definitely need to see a pediatrician. We need to really have clarity on what is wrong or what is going on with your baby. Okay, so I really need to understand that. Then the next person say a baby of 7 months doesn't like breastfeeding, nor eating anything, not even pap. She's being forced to eat. Where am I? Where am I? She's been forced to eat and she vomits. No, so Larry C. Yeah, Larry C. Please stop force feeding the baby. Just even stop that first. Don't ever force feed a baby. You can kill the child. It is that true, and it has happened before, not more than once. So please don't ever force a child to eat. What you really need to do is to understand complementary feeding first. You understand how to go about it. So a 7-month-old baby, you've just done maybe 1 month of complementary feeding. So there's no, baby just need to take 2 to 3 times of complementary feeding a day. It has to be the right texture. It's not supposed to be too watery. It has to be thick, porridge like, and the quantity, it's just about half a cup, less than about 50 mils. And the majority of this, what the child still need to take is breast milk. So there's no rush in feeding this baby, and it's gradually we introduce it. The first time you're giving your baby complementary feeding, you do maybe 1 or 3 spoons. That's all. Then you gradually increase it, and you have variety, and you must give one meal several times in a day. I mean, you must give you must have given that meal several times a week in 1 week before you can say, oh, this baby doesn't want this particular food and all that. So saying baby does not want to eat anything, sometimes we need to have a little bit of patience when we're doing complementary feeding. We've done a whole group discussion like this on complementary feeding from the beginning of this year. A dietitian has also done the same. I recommend you watch those program. I will recommend you go to our guide session and also watch all the videos on complementary feeding, or if you want to get the manual, you can also get the manual. And because I really took my time to dissect all those complementary feeding, how to do it, even all the wrong things we do, all the tips on what to avoid when you are starting, how to go about it. So if you go about it the right way and with a good dose of patience, of course, you will get it right. But one thing you don't ever want to do is to force feed the baby to the point this baby is vomiting. You are trading on a dangerous ground. Because what that vomiting happen, it can go the wrong way. It can go into the airway. You flood the airway with your pap. That's the end of it. And I've seen that happen before. So please don't force feed the child. If you need more help, please ask for help. You can see a pediatrician, you can see a dietitian. We can get you through all these things. But please, I beg you, don't ever force feed any child. so that we don't end up having another wahala. Okay, my 2 months old leg vibrates. Is it normal? Yeah, so maybe sometimes the leg vibrates, especially when they are sleeping. There's nothing to worry about. If your baby is awake and they are vibrating, you need to see a pediatrician because we need to be sure your baby doesn't have any other health issues. Okay, let me go down and finish Instagram. My baby had this 6 week immunization. I noticed the site has a lump in it. Is this normal? Yes, it is normal. So when your baby go for the 6 weeks immunization, the penta, for those of us in Nigeria, is a deep intramuscular injection. So there's a little bit of bleeding into the muscle, and that bleeding is what causes that swelling. What we need to do is to just apply ice pack on it. Please don't massage it. If something is bleeding, if you massage, which is what most of us do for every swelling, I don't know where that's concept comes in Nigeria that when somebody is swollen, we should just massage it. No, it's actually the wrong thing to do because you're actually making it worse. Because most of those, if a child knocks their head on the wall, if they get an injection, they bleed, it is bleeding that is causing the swelling. Massaging it causes to bleed more. It gets worse. What you need to do is to stop the bleeding. Pressure, ice pack. That is all you need to do. Not to still massage again or apply anything. So just apply ice pack on it. Now that blood that has been released into the muscle as a result of that injection is going to form, is going to what we call, is going to clot. If to clot, and then when it's finished clotting, some things is deposited. So that is what formed that lump. It is because it has now clotted. That is what that formed that lump. So it's not something to worry about. So what the body will do is that over time, it will remove all the clots, it will digest it, and it will go away. So just leave it alone and don't do anything. Don't massage, don't add any kerosene, don't add toothpaste, don't add anything, because those things create infection of that blood, and then the child now have what we call an abscess. So what we don't want to do is to do all those things. So you just need to leave it alone. And doesn't stop the child from taking the 10 weeks immunization, because some mother would now say there's still a lump in the one they gave her 6 weeks. So should I go and take the one for 10 weeks? Yes. Go for the 10 weeks one. They will do it on the other thigh or both thighs, depending on how you're taking it. It doesn't matter. There are enough space on that thigh. And trust me, all the lumps are going to go away. So you don't need to panic. You don't need to be scared. What your baby is getting protected from, they are more dangerous. They are the killer diseases. They are more dangerous than that little lump that your baby is going to have on the lap for a few weeks, max months. So the dangerous diphtheria, polio, tetanus, hepatitis, pneumococcal diseases, all those dangerous diseases that your baby is they are being protected from, they are is what the baby gets in the immunization. So don't say I won't go for 10 weeks, I won't go. Please do. And let's keep our baby safe. Okay. I think I've done all Instagram. Instagram, I have a backup phone now, so but I will still leave it and see whether we can finish. Next question. What quantity of water? Okay, everybody's asking me what quantity of water. So let me answer by saying when your baby is 6 months old, they can now start taking water. Fine. But please, they don't need to take so much of water, because we expect that you should keep breastfeeding them. So we expect that you are still breastfeeding on demand. And always have it at the back of your mind that whenever you're breastfeeding, I'm giving 70% of water. So the water your baby needs to take. So I see some mother just, even when baby cries, any little thing, they just go and give them water alone like that, as if just have something in your tummy. No, it's wrong. You can breastfeed them at that point, because breastfeeding should still be going on demand. So, but when your baby has had like a complementary food, let's say he has had a bowl of half a cup of the porridge or whatever, then you can give water after that. And some of our babies, they like to, and one spoon they want to drink water. It's also not a good idea. But some babies is Maybe either it's the way we train them or the way they like it. But please, if they are like that, just make sure it's only a little sip at a time. So for each meal or so, they shouldn't be taking more than maybe 50 mils of water max. Remember, your breast milk is still the main source of the water. So there's no need to start measuring plenty water. Most of those babies, remember, if your baby is 6 months old, and let's say your 6 months old is weighing like 7 kilos or 7.5, all the fluids they need in a day is just about 750 mils. So 750 mils, this bottle is 500 mils already. So remember, your breast milk is already consuming a lot of it already. So don't just fill the tummy with so much water that there's no space for breast milk, there's no space for complementary feeding. If you do that, then your baby will not gain weight. And that's why some of us will say our baby start losing weight when we start complementary feeding, because we're giving too much of water instead of breast milk. And baby can take too much of water and it can cause water intoxication. So let's not like, oh, thank God, exclusive breastfeeding is over. Let's just go on the water and we binge on the water. No, please. Breastfeed as much as possible. Your baby can take sip of water. Luckily, most of the time when baby take water, they pass it out in urine anyway. So there's no problem with that. But the challenge we will worry as pediatricians is that when you feed their tummy so much with water, there's no space for the real food. And when their tummy is full, their tummy is full. Their tummy is not that big. It's not like our own. It's still small. So you have to be conscious that that quantity that they can hold is not that much. And we want food inside. And that's why even the porridge and everything has to be thick. So there's so much calories packed into that same quantity. So it's very, very important. My 5 months do have yellow discharge in the eyes when they sleep for long. I noticed it since 3 months, but today was much. So your baby has eye discharge. What you need to do is to just clean it with clean cloths and water. Just do that first. Also clean it with clean cloths and water. If the discharge persists, in other words, when the baby is not awake, if the baby is still having high discharge, then that baby has something else going on with the eyes, like an infection. Then you need to see a doctor and they need to prescribe appropriate antibiotics. Most of us have eye discharge when we wake up in the morning. That one is not a problem. It is when it continues to come out, even during the daytime, you're cleaning it, it's still coming out more. Then that suggests there's an infection going on, and then the baby needs to take antibiotics. Okay, our time is gone now. I'm just going to rush and close up with the ones I've had already. Please, let's not ask more questions. Let's just answer the one we had. But like I said, you can always ask a question on our Facebook group. How can my baby gain weight? 2 months old baby. What is the weight of your baby now? Your baby is 2 months old, weight is 3 kilos. What was the best weight of the baby? Was baby a preterm baby? I need to have those information. And how are you feeding the baby? For your baby, all I would say is exclusive breastfeed the baby, exclusive breastfeed baby. If you're exclusive breastfeeding your baby and your baby is not gaining weight, you need to see the pediatrician, because we need to know why. Because some babies do not gain weight, and that may be the first thing that will tell us that there is a problem with this baby. There is an health problem. Maybe there's something in the heart, maybe there's something in the lung, maybe there's something somewhere that is not making this baby to gain weight that we need to deal with. So this is a question that we need to answer one-on-one, because we need to ask you all those other information. What can make a baby of 5 years to gain with food? Just food. Give them the right quantity of food. Make sure they are eating well. You know what I meant by well. I've already explained that for those who were listening. If you are just joining us, please rewatch the video. You'll get all those information. How can I treat catarrh and cough for 1 year, 2 months old baby? Most cough and catarrh in children, they're actually viral infections. They don't need antibiotics. They don't need nothing. Just let them take a lot of fluid, like keep them warm and all that. Most of them will resolve by themselves. But if your child has fever, the child is breathing fast or is struggling to breathe, that may be signs of pneumonia. Then you need to take the baby to the hospital to see a doctor who can prescribe appropriate antibiotics. Okay, we answered this question already. 8 weeks old umbilical cord makes sounds, so that's fine. I was asked to do a scan to check umbilical hernia, so you don't need to do a scan to check umbilical hernia. If your child has hernia, you see the hernia. It's a clinical diagnosis. The pediatrician was not satisfied with the scan results. According to him, the symptom shows a symptom of umbilical hernia. I don't think you're saying a pediatrician. This information is not information that even a doctor would give, honestly, because hernia means there is a hole, and the intestine is passing through the hole. So a child who has hernia, when the child coughs or when the child smiles, you will see the nerve shooting out and fill up. Then when you press it down, you can actually press it down and it goes down. That is hernia. It's something that is everybody knows. So I don't understand why a pediatrician will say a child has hernia, they need a scan, and the scan said there's no hernia, and the pediatrician is saying there's hernia. I don't think you're seeing a pediatrician. I don't even think you're seeing a doctor, to be honest, because I strongly doubt this person is a doctor, because hernia is something so basic that even non-doctors knows what an hernia looks like. So if the doctor has concern, and a baby's tummy making sound is not a problem, because babies have gas passing through their tummy all the time. So that is not a problem at all. So I know my phone is going to die, so I'm going to use my backup. So there's nothing wrong with the baby's tummy. There's nothing wrong with a baby's tummy making noise. That is just hair. So babies have hair in their tummy all the time. So I don't even know what that is an issue, really, to be honest. So I would just say there's no need for you to worry at all about it. Just let the baby be. Okay, so let the baby be, and there's no reason for you to worry. All right. Okay. Next question is, my 2-month-old baby has something like a boil where she had the BCG. Yes, so I've already answered that already, and that is a BCG response to the BCG vaccine. There's nothing you need to do about it. Just leave it alone, and it will be fine. So just leave it alone. Okay. All right. The next question. Chioma Oluchi, I'm worried because when should one be worried on a 2-month, 3 weeks old baby having cough and catarrh? I think I just answered that question. So if your 2 months and 2-month old baby is having cough and there's fever and there is fast breathing, those are the time that we need to worry. Otherwise, there's really no need to worry, because most of the time, most babies just have cough and catarrh and it will resolve on its own. You don't need to do anything about it. It will just go on its own. All right. Okay, and let's go on to the next one. My 3-month-old baby has green pool. So the issue is that, are you breastfeeding properly? So we want your 3-month-old baby to be on exclusive breastfeeding, and you must make sure you take both the fore milk and the hind milk. Everything must be there, and breastfeeding the baby on demand, because greenish pool for us is often a sign of what do we call it? Inadequate breastfeeding or starvation. So you need to make sure, and if you are giving formula, some formula can also make your baby to have greenish pool. So it is the iron in the formula that is causing the greenish pool. So you need to avoid that. Then the next question. Oh, finally we're getting to the end. I circumcised my 4-month-old baby, 9 months old, but after the ill, the stitches scar is still around the calf. Please, will it go later? So if you did a surgery for your baby, or you do surgery for anything, and you have any concern about that place, the best person to see is the surgeon who did the surgery. So you need to see the surgeon and let them tell you. Ideally, every surgeon follow up their patients. They always want to look at what they have done. So they should look at it and decide whether they are happy with it or they are not. So I'm going to recommend you see the surgeon for a follow-up. I don't expect that a surgery that was done 5 months ago should still be causing any problem now. Honestly, I don't. So I really want you to go see the surgeon and have that conversation. Let them have a look. Make sure there's nothing wrong. And if there's anything wrong, let them fix it. Okay. I noticed my baby 1 year always crash her head. and it looks like it's swollen, okay. If some maybe scratch their head, there's nothing wrong with that. But if it is swollen, you need to see a doctor. I don't know why the head is swollen. I don't understand that. So we need to see a doctor. We need to examine the baby to know what is wrong. My baby's weight is 9.3 at 15 months. 1.8 baby. The weight is fine. That's why that's fine for your 1.8 kilos at birth, because your baby was born at 32 weeks. So even though your baby is 15 months, your baby technically is actually 13 months. So like 1 year old, 1 month, corrected age. And 9.3 for a 1 year old, I am not worried. Most 1 year old weigh 10 kilos anyway. And your baby, remember your baby started at 1.8. So I'm not worried. Facebook, what can be done to 2 weeks old baby who gets choked when sleeping? No, that's not a good sign. A baby should not be getting choked when sleeping. A 2-month-old should sleep on the back, not on the front, not on the chest, not on the tummy. They should sleep back to sleep. And so they sleep on their back. You can turn their face to one side. So the baby should not be shocking. The baby should not be shocking. If the baby is shocking, you need to see a pediatrician, because there are some medical conditions that can cause the baby to be shocking. So I really need to know, but I'm responding to you based on what you told me, because sometimes some people use the word shocking to mean different things. But when you use the word shocking around a pediatrician or any doctor, we are alarmed, because that means, for us, what shocking means is that something is going through the airway that should not be going through the airway. So we're worried about that. So you definitely need to go and see a doctor about that. Question: my baby has been having fever of 38 for several months. Really? Several months? We've been admitted, okay, and attended to by pediatrician, okay, but it keeps having a high fever. What can be his problem? The best person to answer that question is that pediatrician that has been admitting your baby, because I trust they would have done all the tests, they would have done all the usual evaluation to know why this baby is still having fever of 38. So there are many causes of what we call persistent fever of unknown origin. So see your pediatricians and let them, of course, for them to have admitted your baby, so they should know what they're doing, and they should be thinking of other things. If they are not sure, they can refer you to see other specialists for other investigation of the causes of the persistent fever. But there are conditions that can cause that. So, but your pediatricians, they know better, because they've seen your child, they've admitted your child, they must have done the test. So it's not fair to ask me that I've not seen your child, that I've not seen the result of the test. So the doctors that have seen the child, admitted the child, carried out tests and all that, they are the one. And I hope you have been seeing the same pediatrician, because if you jump from one person to another person, they may not be able to tie it down together. So if you see the same person, then they will know, this is what I've done, this is what I've excluded. Maybe I should look for this one, I should look for that one. You may want to go to a teaching hospital, actually. That's the best place for that kind of a child to be managed. 16 days old have a wound on a navel after they clamp, fall off. You see some? No, it's not something to worry about. Usually when the cord has dropped, which is what you are trying to say, it may not always be completely healed. So what you need to do is to keep cleaning with methylated spirits until it's completely healed. So that's what you need to do. Okay, thank you. I don't know where is Antonia. Ruth is saying 16 days. Okay, I think I've just answered that question. What can I give my 1-year-old baby as substitute for breast milk at night? Nothing. You don't need to feed your 1-year-old at night. Okay, usually at this age, you should expect them to have eaten enough food, that you have eaten their complementary feeding. If you want to, ideally, we want you to breastfeed for 2 years, but if you are stopping breastfeeding, then that's fine. But the baby does not need to be eating at night. The baby does not need to take anything at night. They should sleep through the nights. Okay. So if they wake up and they, you want to give them, if they are thirsty, you can give them water and all that. But ideally, we really want them to just sleep at night, and not, the dentists don't also want them taking bottle or milk at night, because it can cause their teeth to become rotten as well. So if you can keep breastfeeding, fine. If you not, if you win them, let them have their normal meals during the daytime, and hopefully by 7 p.m. they should have their last meal, and hopefully they should sleep all night. Facebook user, 7 weeks have been having skin rashes, most especially on the face, at the back of the neck. It appears like a burn. It's possible your child is reacting to the product you are using. So for babies, you need to be careful that you don't use products that has a lot of chemicals. They can react to them. So you may want to use what we call hypoallergenic, or basically natural products that don't have much chemicals. So for this age, I prefer you use things like ori, shea butter, coconut oil, olive oil, or Vaseline without perfume, the blue seal one, what's the other one, Sebamed, all those things. Just look for what we call hypoallergenic products. Some of those nice, sweet smelling product that we use for babies that they sell to you in the shop for babies, they all contain so much chemicals, and because that's why they smell so nice, but they make baby skins very the baby skins are very sensitive to them, and they can cause reaction. So you may therefore want to start from that, even including the soap. So this is why on our Facebook group we have a whole group discussion, and on our website as well, on how to take care of the skin of a newborn baby. You may want to read that, or you also go through the first time babies manual. We talk about the skincare. The skincare of newborn babies is so crucial because they have very sensitive skin, they have very delicate skin, and if you are not doing it properly, the skin is the largest organ of the body. Infection in that skin can cause germs to easily enter the rest of the body. So you really need to know that you are taking care of the skin very well. Thank you. Babies sometimes turn to sleep on their side. Do not shaking. Please put them back. Put them to their back to sleep. Okay, baby's temperature is 35.8. Okay, usually most babies don't, just if baby's weighing that, most thermometers don't read below 35, to be honest. So if your baby is feeling cold to your touch, then wear additional clothes, wear socks, wear maintains, put on cap, and then check the temperature again whether they come up. But make sure it's not a thermometer error, because sometimes it's just a thermometer. If your baby is otherwise feeling warm to your hand and happy and all that, just leave the baby alone. But you can, if you think your baby is actually feeling cold, and the way to, I always say that's the way to know your baby is feeling cold, feel their palms and feel their feet. If both of them are feeling cold to touch, then your baby is cold, then you can wear socks, wear additional clothes, and that's all you need to do. Okay, how can I watch this video again? You can watch this video all over again. The video is here, it's not going away. It's going to be there on Facebook. It's going to be whichever place that you have watched this video is going to still be there when I finish, so you can watch it again. And the best place to actually watch all our past videos is on our YouTube channel, because it is, that's the only thing you will not be distracted by other things like it would be on Facebook. On our YouTube is all our videos, and they are permanently there. It is ATP TV. Let me just see whether I can share the banner of all our stuff. Okay, so this one is not showing, but if you go to Facebook, just type Ask the Pediatrician for YouTube, or ATP TV, V with double E at the end, TV, ATP TV with double E at the end. That is our channel, ATP TV. You will not miss it. And then you'll be able to watch all our videos again. But like I said, it's also available on our Facebook pages as well. Okay, his face up is the best sleeping position for a baby. Yes, it's not even the best, it's the only sleeping position recommended for babies, because we don't want babies sleeping on the face because of what we call sudden infant death syndrome. So we really need to avoid that. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Somebody just helped me to answer that question. Thank you for my assistance. Some people are just so good with helping me with all those questions. How can I manage 1-year-old? You still wake up to suck 4 to 6 times at night? Okay, I don't see any problem with that. I'm happy. I want the baby to suck at night, so it's okay for the baby to suck. Okay, if you think you are tired, you want to win the baby, okay, fine. But usually we want you to wait to breastfeed the baby to 2 years. So if you can do it, please do it for us. But if you don't want to do it, then you win the baby. and baby will stop sucking, and baby will start sleeping and eating. All right, so thank you so much. We've come to the end of the program. Oh goodness me. So for malaria, you need to see your doctors for treatments. Okay. And please don't assume malaria in babies like you do for yourself. All of you early literacy, let me just treat malaria. Please don't treat children for malaria at all. Don't. If you think your baby has fever, you suspect they have malaria, please take them to the hospital. Let's just confirm the malaria and let's treat the malaria. Okay. Don't do self-treatment for malaria. For those who are just coming, I'm sorry, we've closed. Please post your questions on the Facebook group and we will answer them. You don't need to train babies to sit. They will sit by themselves, and they usually sit by at 6 months already. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Time has gone, and we've come to the end of ACP Live. So if you have any more questions, feel free to post it on our Facebook group, Mondays to Saturday and all that. Remember, if you want to have a chat, you can have a chat with us. You can just send a message to our phone number. It is a service that is paid for. Remember to support us. And for those of you who are first-time mom, I want to present to you the first-time mom course. So please buy this manual. It will be very helpful for you. All those questions of first-time moms and everything is already addressed, from breastfeeding to the immediate care of the newborn, all the colic, all the teething, all the reflux, even the sick babies, first aid for fever, first aid for diarrhea, and all that. I can assure you that if you buy the book, it's value for your money. It's just 5,000 naira, and it's digital products only. So you will find it very, very, very useful. For how to get it, send us a message on our WhatsApp number, and then I think we can send you the details. But the information is also available on our Facebook group as well. So thank you so much. And for those on Instagram, I sincerely apologize for all the breaks today. I will try and make sure that doesn't happen next time. So I'll see you guys again next week by God's grace. Remember, this week we also have a group discussion on our Facebook group on the skin rashes. So all the skin rashes people, the dermatologist is going to be there answering all the common questions about skin rashes and helping us understand how to, so make sure you join us. I think it's on Wednesday, but look out for the flyers on our Facebook group on all our social media platforms. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and I will see you again same time next week by God's grace. Bye.